Hi there, BookTube! I'm Christina, and as you may probably guess, I'm here today in order to speak about my childhood books. This idea came to me while I was speaking with Chad from Authentically Chad, and I'm going to link his channel down below, and if you're not following him, please do it because he has a very interesting channel and he's a newbie here on BookTube, so all the love will be greatly appreciated. And we just started to talk about our childhood books and how they were precious and how it was important to have them still here in our houses and in our lives. And so I thought that maybe I could do a video about them. Before I start, you have to know that I spent my childhood in 3 different countries. And at the beginning I started to read in Russian, so all of my childhood books are in Russian. So if you know Russian, you will surely understand what I'm talking about. And if you don't, I think that it's still something curious to know about, so just stay with us. And we're going to show you something from the good old wonderful days of childhood. The first book that I would like to show you is one of those that I cherish the most probably, and it's this thin little one, but it really is full of history and memories and even family history for me, because it's the first book that you start to read when you're trying to learn the alphabet. So it was my father's book at the beginning and then it became mine, so it's quite old, and inside you may see all these kind and beautiful illustrations, and here you have the red square from Moscow. And as I said before, it's a book that you read when you're just starting to read, so you have your first letters and some associations with this letter and then some simple words and so on. And I really remember loving it and using it so much in order to understand how to read. And at the beginning I was really fascinated by the way the adults read, because I was still starting and all I was able to do was to speak aloud and try to say the letters aloud and to read aloud, but they had a magical power. They were able to read in their minds without saying a sound or a word, and it was so magical for me. I really thought that my dad was a wizard, I guess, because my grandma read to me aloud, of course, but I saw my father reading by himself, so I thought that he was a wizard. And I really wanted to master that kind of power, and when I finally did, it was something amazing. I guess that I can really remember the precise moment when I started to read in my mind and not aloud, but that was the day when I became a superpower reader. The second book that I remember loving so much and reading through so many times was this little guy, and it's Настоящий друг, written by Zinaida Grieva, and it's just a little child books with big illustrations and just a little bit of written story. But I really loved this one. It was about true friendship between this puppy and a little chick, and I don't know, when you're a child you're really able to enjoy the smallest things and the silliest but sweetest stories, and this one was one of my favorites. The next book again was one of my father's books when he was a child, and it is А это мы, or This Is Us. It was published in 1974, and it's just a collection of small stories about the animals of the forest. And here again you have some beautiful illustrations about the animals and they're just some short stories, and I remember really loving this one, and it was a short story about this rabbit who finds a pair of glasses, pink glasses, and he tries them on, and he just pretends that those glasses gave him some superpowers, and he goes around the forest saying that now he has superpowers and he may foresee the future, and so on and so on, while the other animals believe him till the moment when he understands that those pair of glasses are transforming everything he sees and everything is pink. I know it's a silly story, but as a child I really enjoyed it. And I guess that we all have that kind of books that now when we reread them are a little bit silly, but we still love them because we may see them through the eyes of our children's self. I don't know if it makes any sense. The next couple of books, you've already seen them if you've seen my New to Booktube tag video, and they're these ones from my childhood, are the ones that really made me a reader, because from them I just really started to want to read by myself and to know how the story ended. And I have the second and the third book here, while the first one is still at my grandmother's house, so it's in Latvia, and I think that as soon as I can I will bring the last one back here. But yeah, here we have the complete story of the adventures of Dunno, and as I said in the previous video, this book has been translated in English, so you may even find out what it's about. I think that you may still enjoy it even as an adult person, and I think that as soon as I will be able to, I will reread it with so much joy. Next, I have two books. One is a paperback and the other one is a hardcover, and they are both a collection of fairy tales written by Hans Christian Andersen. And I think that everyone knows about Hans Christian Andersen and his fairy tales. They are amazing, they are sometimes very sad, sometimes very funny, and I remember really loving them. This hardcover edition had even a couple of illustrations inside, for example this one from Thumbelina and a lot of others, and I really remember enjoying this book. This specific copy has been published in 1988, so it's quite old, as you may see from the yellowish pages, and that perfume of old books. This next one is the paperback edition, and it's very beaten up because it was published in 1981, so it's quite old for being a paperback, but it's still in great shape if you think about it. It was full packed with a lot of small stories and fairy tales, and if you've never read anything written by Hans Christian Andersen, you really should. It takes you just sometimes even a couple of minutes to read something written by him, but you will really enjoy his fairy tales. Next book that I have here is my mother's book, published in 1981, and it's this beautiful illustrated version, paperback illustrated version of The Wizard of Emerald City. Yeah, The Wizard of Emerald City and not of Oz, because I discovered that this is a re-narration of The Wizard of Oz, and it has a lot of common elements, of course, as you may see from the picture, with all the main characters, but some parts of the original book has been removed and some other has been added, so it's really a re-narration, and this one is written by Volkov. So it has inside a lot of beautiful illustrations, and I remember really enjoying this one. This Russian version even has 3 or 4 sequels to it, and they has been created only by Volkov, and they are not existent in the original version of the book. So if you're curious and if this book has been translated, just try to search for it, because I think that it's fun to see another perspective on a story that we all know so very well. The next two books are really beautiful editions and I love them so much. The first one is Ruslan и Lyudmila, and it's a story written by Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin. And if you've never read anything by Pushkin, you really should try to find something written by him. He has written a lot for both children and adult. He has written poems, he has written novels, short stories. So there is something for any kind of taste, and if you're interested in Russian literature, you really should go there and find something written by him. This particular book is all written in rhymes, so it's a long poem, but it has a story inside of it, and it's a love story between Ruslan and Lyudmila, the two main characters. She is kidnapped at a certain point and he has to rescue her, so it's an adventure and a love story, and it's a very beautiful, amazing edition with some decorations along the pages. This story is really well known wherever you go in Russia, because when we're children we have to learn about it and to study it and to even know by heart at least the first part of this story, and I still recall it. Let's see if I can say it. У лукоморья дуб зеленый, золотая цепь над убитом, и днем и ночью кот ученый все ходит по цепи кругом. Пойдет направо, песнь заводит, налево сказку говорит, там чудеса, там леший бродит, русалка на ветвях сидит. Etc, etc, etc. It's really beautiful and I really cherish this edition because it was given to me by my grandmother at the end of my first year as a student. I finished the year with the highest grades, and so it was given to me in 1999 by her as a present for being such a good student and for finishing my first year at school. And the last book is from 1997 and it's a gorgeous illustrated book. It is completely in Latvian, and unfortunately I don't speak Latvian. I started learning it when I was in my first year at school. Yeah, during my first year at school, but then I completely forgot everything about Latvian. So right now I cannot understand a single word here inside of this book, but I still appreciate the gorgeous and beautiful pictures, and you may really understand the story just looking at it. It's on my shelf and sometimes I just open it and watch at it because it's very beautiful and it gives you that magical vibe. So this is the last book that I wanted to show you from my childhood collection. Unfortunately, these are not all the books that I own from my childhood. I have some books in Latvia, I have some books in Crimea, and yeah, I have a lot of books all over the world, I think, that are waiting to come back to me, but every time I go there I just buy new books. Please let me know in the comments down below if you've ever read one of these books or something similar, or maybe these books translated in another language, and if you still have your childhood books on your shelf, if you're cherishing them, or if you have some books from your parents' childhood and so on. And yeah, just tell me if you still reread them and still love them as when you were a child. And if you want to do a video about them, it would be great. I would really like to know about your tastes and what made you a reader, because these are the books to which we owe our passion as readers and as book lovers. So if you want to spend a little bit of time talking about them, it would be very, very great. And me and my precious baby wave you goodbye and till the next video. Ciao ciao, bye!